Runners are a dream come true for business leaders. I actually want to extend that to all endurance athletes, or most endurance athletes. Runners, bikers, triathletes. I'm sure there's more, but I think those three specifically stand out to me. So let's talk about why there's such a great audience to build for and to be a marketer for, and then, we'll see where we go. So the first thing that really stands out is that there are consistent archetypes for runners, right? Marketers are always told to build a persona and understand the pain points and the emotions that go along with it. Well, these athletes have those. There is you can understand them, and it's going to be pretty consistent from athlete to athlete. There'll be some nuance. When is a race? Are they trying to qualify for something? Are they just trying to prove something themselves? Are they just trying to have fun? Are they trying to be healthy? But there are consistent types of these athletes with consistent pain points, consistent concerns, consistent emotions, and consistent behaviors. The other thing is that they are already in a community, right? I think communities become a big buzzword for a lot of brands and for marketers, and it's all about how do you build a community. I think the best and most consistent way isn't to build a community, it's to be a part of a community, it's to join a community, it's to serve a community. And these endurance athletes already have them, right? There are run clubs all in every city of the world, bike groups, triathlete clubs. There are races that are going on. There are already stores, there's subreddits, there's Slack channels, there's Facebook groups. These communities already exist. And so you don't have to do the legwork to create the community. What you want to figure out to do is how can you be a valuable member of it without sort of trespassing and being pushy and turning everyone off and away from your brand, but you can provide real value and just be an active member of it. These athletes spend hours every week obsessing about their sport, their performance times, training. What is the slight change they should make that's going to unlock a new personal best? They fight against adversity. Right? Think about someone in New York City. They're in the fall and winter. It's cold, it's rainy or snowy. They're braving shitty roads. They're dodging insane traffic. They're getting up super early to do this before work. They're cutting out sleep from their life so they can get this done and not miss their training or not miss family time. This is part of their identity, right? So that's one. I mean, you have a passionate group of people who identify as a part of a community, and it's a community you can tap into and be a part of, and it's a global community. So you have a huge market. More people are, not only is it growing in popularity now, so we're seeing more and more people become triathletes and bikers and runners, but it's already a huge community. There's already a number of people who are going to join it naturally anyways every year. So your market continues to expand. New people keep coming into it. And they have long customer life cycles, right? So many brands and so many products and verticals are renowned for their volatility. People want new stuff. They look for fads and they move on. You see, even in the fitness industry, you see this, maybe particularly in the fitness industry, you see all the time, right? Trendy new workout techniques and approaches, trendy new supplements, whatever. Endurance athletes have been popular for 40 years and have just gained popularity. This is not a short-term fad. And these are sports that people are engaged with for wildly long periods of time. People are running still in their 70s and in 60s for sure. So you could theoretically have a 50-year customer lifetime that you're looking at and actively building a relationship with people, selling to them, and growing that LTV. And what's the thing we always talk about? Higher LTV means that you can spend more to acquire, you can spend more to retain, and you also can profit more. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, right? And so this long potential lifetime is a huge leg up for brands that sell to endurance athletes. The next bit is that brand loyalty is real. Again, this is especially for these athletes, this is part of their identity. They are proud to be wearing Hoka's or Ons or Nikes, right? Like that is part of who they are. Even though they're not sponsored by that brand, they almost feel like a sponsored athlete. That is core to who they are. And so they have favorite stuff. They talk about it, which is the dream, right? Every brand, every marketer is like, how do I create word of mouth? How do I get people to go talk about my product? That's what endurance athletes do all the time. We're always talking about the socks or the new shirt that you got, the new shoes, the new supplement, the gel that you're having midway through, the drink powder, the electrolyte mix, like whatever it is, people are excited to talk about it. So you're getting referrals and word of mouth from passionate members of this community to other passionate members of this community. They have a long customer lifetime. And once they find something that they like, they buy a bunch of it, right? And you can see how serious this is by when brands change things. There was like a massive outcry, right? Like Nike discontinued some shoes, the world freaks out. That's part of their strategy. They make a shoe, make it popular, get rid of it so people will buy multiple of that shoe at once, artificially inflating, near-term revenue, but also then I think to their detriment a little bit, that shoe goes away, they have to go find another. Do they feel burned by Nike? I think they're placing a huge bet that people are going to still pick that brand. But regardless, people are passionate. If someone changes the interface in an app, this community can either love it or freak out, right? You aren't just making changes to a product, you're making changes with their life. And so, the kind of the age-old question of how would you feel if this product was no longer available to you? And that's like a measure of product market fit, right? You're going to find extreme product market fit with this group because this is not just a part of their day. This is a part of their life and their identity. So if you can get into that routine, if you can make it into their kit, their system, their life, their training plan, you can drive a really high LTV. And people, these athletes will buy a bunch of things. They're happy to spend and they go through gear fast, right? This is, even though it's not a consumable product the same way that supplements are, your running gear, your biking gear does wear down. You put serious wear on it. So even things like apparel become semi-consumables. And then certainly if you're making supplements or anything kind of that is actually consumable, those tenets of timeline or repeatability hold true. But, socks, shoes, compression gear, underwear, tights, hats, gloves, shirts, sunglasses, watches, tracking gear. There's always new stuff coming out for now. There's, a used heart rate has been popular for a long time, but now you can get a core body temperature analysis. Now you can get stuff to understand the impact your feet are having when they hit the ground. Fuel and recovery equipment, warm-up clothes, gear for the rain, gear for the cold. The list goes on and on. And this audience, again, let's run through where we're at, right? Long customer lifetime, high brand affinity, repeatable set of concerns, problems, aspirations, willingness to spend through high consumption. Also, for as much as they're brand loyal, they're shockingly willing and excited to try new stuff, whether that's from within your brand or a challenger brand. People, like my wife and I have 4 different brands of running shoes. 4? 5. I have 2, she has 3 right now that we are actively running in, not just that we've bought, that we currently wear. They're willing to try something new. They're looking for an edge. They're looking to constantly get better. They know their bodies are changing. They know that the science is changing. Plus, in a sport like running or riding or swimming or triathlon, improvements are slow to come, right? It takes diligent work consistently over a long period of time. But people want to feel like they're making progress and change now. And gear is sort of the way to do that, right? Gear, supplements, new recovery equipment, whatever. Because it's going to take me 4 months of running hard every day or consistently to see massive improvements in my run, but I want to feel like I'm making an impact now. Well, I can make that impact by buying a new pair of running shoes or by buying a new recovery tool. And so there is this willingness to spend. And so when you think about all those things, you have a large TAM that is growing, with a propensity towards brand loyalty, with a propensity to spend, with a willingness to test new products, that is excited to talk about it and is a word of mouth machine. It has a pre-established community that you can tap into, and they have a consistent set of concerns, fears, emotions, aspirations. So it is fairly easy to predict the types of things you need to talk to these athletes about, and these athletes being your customers, right? Knowing their geography, you can then talk to them about the right stuff seasonally. You have a reason to talk to them differently in the winter than in the summer, than in the spring, than in the fall, because their training schedule is going to be different. The weather they're dealing with is going to be different. The races they're dealing with, the psychology, right? Like if you're in the Northeast or the North anywhere, it sucks in the winter. It's depressing. It's cold. Seasonal depression hits, plus you're used to being out and exercising. That's a thing you can tap into. Motivation starts to fall. People are less willing to get out on the road. People don't enjoy running on treadmills as much. And so motivation's waning. It's uncomfortable. You can help solve that with different gear, with exciting stuff, with training tips, with off-season tips, with content, with events, whatever, right? There's so many ways you can tap in and provide value to this extremely profitable, addressable market. Okay, so that's why I love the endurance athlete space for brands. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about which brands are doing it well, which brands are struggling, really cool tactics I've seen work in this community or in similar ones that I think could work here. I'm going to start to explore some of these businesses so that if you are selling to endurance athletes, you can grow and do better. And if you're not, I'm always recommending to people that you should look at other verticals, other business models, other audiences, and try and see what they're doing and how you can bring that into your own. So even if you're not selling to endurance athletes, that's fine. Watch these videos. Please subscribe and like so that, we know that you like this video, and also selfishly, it helps me grow this channel and our business. So I really, really appreciate that, and we'll talk soon.